All right. Are we ready to wake up this morning with our minds set on spirit? I think we are.
Good morning, CSL Simi Valley. Oh, yes, yes, yes. It's a beautiful morning in the hood. Hey, John or somebody, when you get a chance, let's turn this monitor on up here. So, we did some chanting this week. Whoo, Rikio. No, we just did the Om Shanti, Satnam. It was Kirtan City. It was really lovely. It was really lovely. Some good stuff. We're going to do it again next month. Certainly is. And but this month, it's a big thing for us. You know, we've been talking about all year. It's been we're community. That's been our story this year. No, it's a remote control here. Uh-oh. Don't worry about it. They'll get it. They'll get it. So this is our service preparedness, emergency preparedness and service month. Part of our whole deal about we are community in 23. And one of the things that we've been doing is highlighting different activities that could take place. So I think I wanted to show we're going to have a CPR training course. CPR and AED training. You sign up for this course, and you will receive a 2-year certificate after it's over. You'll learn all that's necessary to help out in an emergency situation. And it's really powerful. I mean, look, we just heard our loved ones in Morocco are going through it. They're still dealing with the aftermath in Maui. We've got the floods from Greece. Here in our own country, we've got floods. It's just everywhere this opportunity for us to step into service of other humankind. But we want to know what we're doing before we do it. We don't want to go cause more challenges. So sign up for this course. It's $55. You'll get that's for your booklet, your certificate, and some other materials that will come, handouts and stuff that will come part of that day. That's going to be on September 23rd. It's a Saturday. It's a most of the day course, so bring your own lunch. Or maybe, you know what? Is the board president here? She's busy. She can't hear me. We'll buy you lunch. The church will buy you lunch that day. But here's the deal. There are only 16 slots available. So first come, first serve. Sign up right away, okay? Now, also, part of Service Month and Emergency Preparedness Month is we have a special guest here today from the Samaritan Center, the board president of the Samaritan Center. He's hanging out in the back, trying to be low-key. Daniel Pena, so we'll bring him in. And he was here earlier. He showed up for meditation. I said, you got to come, and it's kind of like the reverse soup kitchen. Before you can talk, you got to hear me talk. And he said, but he showed up for meditation. He's already like, I loved that. That was cool. So we got him. We got him. That's where that works. All right. So that's all the things that are coming up. And there's that. That's what I was talking about on the 23rd, the class for 50. Oh, that says limited to 12. Well, I just included 16. So too bad. Teacher Herb better be ready. Herb, if you're watching, you're going to do 16 now, not 12. All right? Okay, so that's that. But these are the various ways that we let our vision and our mission statement come to life. We say this each week, not because we forget it, but because we want to emphasize it, because we know the power of words. So let's use those words right now and put some power behind it as you say it. Are you ready? Here we go. We're a community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God. In gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. That's who we are. That's why we're here. And here's what we do, which is prayer and the rest of the service. So, Nancy, please bring it. Thank you, Reverend Nancy.
Thank you. Good morning. Wow. Whew, that meditation was wonderful, wasn't it? And thank you, Mr. Pena, for being here. I took dinner over to the Samaritan Center in May, and I've been volunteering ever since. I'm the one driving the van to Costco to pick up more food than I ever thought possible that they donate every week. It's amazing. So thank you, thank you. But this is what we do right now. Right here, right now, in this holy moment. There's only one power, one presence, one life, one infinite love expressing in and through each and every one of us, and everywhere throughout the cosmos. We come here this morning in joy, in service, in community. We are so grateful for this opportunity to be here this morning, to listen to this beautiful music from David Joyce and his beautiful wife, Laura Hamilton, who I got to speak to. We're here to listen to Reverend Stephen's wisdom and humor as he channels the divine in his unique and beautiful way. So we know that before this service ever begins, it is perfect. It is whole. It is complete. It was so before I ever spoke it. So I'm just grateful for this time, for this beautiful service, and for each and every one here and out on the online world and beyond that looks at this service maybe years from now, knowing that it was always perfect, always beautiful, always whole. And so it is. And we say together, and so it is.
Please stand and join us.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing day. This healing,
Well, this serves two purposes. One, to anchor the intention of the Cosmic Kids. Two, to support my intention to play the gong as often as possible. So I'm going to hit it, and as I do, and you feel the vibration, let that vibration float out to embrace the children that will get so much from this teaching as they become part of our Cosmic Kid program. Are you ready?
This is where how they hear me in the beyond. I'll read our affirmation for this morning, and then I'll ask you to read it with me. I take conscious actions that connect me to life, renewing my spirit and restoring dignity, security, and a sense of community. Together? I take conscious actions that connect me to life, renewing my spirit and restoring dignity, security, and a sense of community. Yes. So my reading this morning is from a very simple book, Simple Brilliance, by Raymond Powers, Rediscovering Your Natural Genius. And I'm going to read the introduction because I thought it was just beautiful. What is simple brilliance? Simple, listen to these words, requires little effort, second nature, minimal cognition needed, easily learned, innate, childlike, low calorie, energy efficient, meditative, shortest route, path of least resistance, a straight line, a circle, a spiral, elemental, primary, natural, innocent, primal, obvious, honest, authentic, few moving parts, interrelated, efficient. Brilliance, intuitive, conscious, luminescent, holistic, integral, reflective, creative, imaginative, iridescent, opalescence, responsive, response-able, expressive, intentional, wise, patient, radiant, inspired, exceptional, many-faceted, holographic, charismatic, shimmering, solutions benefiting and acknowledging the whole, observant, idealistic, pragmatic. There's a state of remembering that brings us back to the full expression and conscious enthusiasm we had as a child. Those very activities and resources that magnetized our attention. Creation is aliveness, and it has always been coursing through the cosmos and pumping in our veins, wanting and seeking expression. Simple brilliance is a conscious remembering of who we are as integrated, interrelated, passionate, vital beings. Through the freedom born from discipline, we can rediscover and embody the very essence of ourselves, revealing confidently our own unique genetic stamp. There is no way to freedom, though there are many ways that we prevent ourselves from living purposefully. We must first learn to cultivate trust in life itself, then in ourselves, and finally with others. Cultivating simple brilliance catalyzes a life of unexpected joy and opportunity beyond what we ever thought possible. A life that fully realizes and expresses our potentials and capabilities. It takes courage, passion, and an adventuresome spirit to admit there are mysteries we may never truly come to know. The goal is to live inside that mystery, relating to the unknown and listening to the guidance that whispers from within. In nature, everything is in divine order. You, as a person, are part of nature. Therefore, your life is in perfect divine order as well. So it is.
And so it is. And I'd like to welcome my wife to the stage. And we're going to sing you a song about, well, it's about peace, it's about love, it's about understanding, you know, some good things. And what's, I don't get what's funny about that, but Elvis Costello did think there was something worth talking about. So we're going to share that with you now. As I walk through this wicked world, searching for light in the darkness of insanity, I ask myself, is all hope lost? Is there only pain and hatred and misery? I think not. And each time I feel like this inside, there's one thing I wanna know. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? And I walked on through troubled times. My spirit gets so downhearted sometimes. So where are the strong? And who are the trusted? And where is the harmony? Sweet harmony. 'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, it just makes me want to cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Where are the strong? Who are the trusted? And where is the harmony? Oh, sweet harmony. 'Cause each time I feel it slipping away, it just makes me want to cry. 'Cause what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? joke. No matter what the key is, that love is the key. Love is my neighbor. Love is my friend. Love is my dear wife. Love is my enemies. Love is all around us. Love is all around us. Right next to you. Take a look at the person next to you. That's a love. Speaking out this morning. There's nothing funny about it. It's the most real thing in the world. Don't you know? So what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, yes, that's what you. Thank you very much. Thank you, band.
Thank you so much, David Joyce and band and Laura Hamilton. Oh, there's nothing but beauty in those three words. And let's take those three words, love, peace, and understanding, into our meditation. 3 minutes. The gap meditation, God awareness place. I'll bring us out, or no, I'll take us in, and I think David Joyce will bring us out in 3 minutes. So here we go. Thank you, David. That felt like it was just for me, but I know it was for all of us. The God awareness plays 3 minutes. How easy was that? Just consciously breathing. What if we could do it 1, 2, 3 times a day? How powerful is that? It does not have to be a big practice that we think we can't do. It's a small, beautiful, inward love affair. 3 minutes. And so it is.
And in that space, we have more choice. I sometimes feel like I don't have choice. And I get lost in some feelings or some difficult challenges or whatever's going on in my mind at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going, stay away from me, let me sleep. But we have choice, and we can choose. And we can choose love. Years cannot age you. Fear cannot scare you. Pain cannot hurt you. Death cannot kill you. Choose love. Choose love. War cannot harm you. Hunger can't starve you. Sin cannot shame you. Guilt cannot blame you. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. When you're doubting your direction, and you feel like giving up, choose love. Money has spent you. Beauty would tempt you. Fame will fool you. And power will rule you. But choose love. Choose love. Choose love. Choose love. When you're doubting your direction, and you feel like giving up, yeah, yeah, you can choose love. Years won't age you. Fear cannot scare you. No. Pain cannot hurt you. And death cannot kill you. You know it's true. War cannot harm you. Not really. Hunger won't starve you. Sin cannot shame you. Guilt cannot blame you. Come on. Choose love. Sing with me. Choose love.
Thank you, David Joyce.
Thank you very much. Thank you, band. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura Hamilton Joyce. What a choice. I love that choice. Choose love, no matter what key. Oh, there's the key right there. Yeah, there is the key. Rent due. Rent due. So that comes from, who knows that quote? Right? Rent due? No? John? Let's start with it. Rent due. So, first attributed to Muhammad Ali, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. Rent due, right? Yeah. Well then, all right, who was the first female African American in Congress after Reconstruction? Well, actually, ever. Shirley Chisholm, who upgraded or changed that to say, service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on earth. The privilege of living on earth. And then it was upgraded later. Now, see, when you Google it, who said it first? Muhammad Ali gets it first. But sometimes this person gets it, Marion Wright Edelman, who founded the Children's Defense Fund. And I like what she did to it. She said, service is the rent we pay for being. For being. It is the very purpose of life, not something you do in your spare time. Right? So this is a very valuable time to think about this rent due, this service time, because tomorrow is 9/11, our National Day of Remembrance, but it's also been added to it as our National Day of Service. So tomorrow's a good day to go out and do something, even if it's just to pick up that wrapper that's on the ground when you walk past, you know, whatever it is. If you're a smoker, the day to remember to put it in your cigarette ashtray. That is not an ashtray. Pick up your dog poo. Yes, in a bag, hopefully. You are nasty. You know, we're laughing at it, but I'm coming back to 9/11. I was just driving down the beach last Thursday past Pepperdine. And this time of year, when they put the flags out for all that died on 9/11. It's a powerful, powerful experience. That's why John Bellis is not here this morning. He's actually doing a fundraiser. He's playing at the beach this morning, and they were playing. They had to stop their plane at the time that the first plane hit the World Trade Center. We all remember where we were. That's one of those times in our life that we're frozen in time, right? Where we all know, touches us in that deep way. And it's that energy, that running toward danger that all our first responders did, that we get to choose to do. That's the rent we get to pay, to run toward the opportunity, to run into the flames, to know that this is the time for us to do what we need to do. And that's what we'll hear a little bit more later from Daniel from the Samaritan Center, how we can move forward into that. Because service, it feels good. It feels good to ourselves, to our individual selves, but it's also good for the larger self in the world today. It's that way that we allow joy to enter our being when we can step into that space. It is a spiritual practice, in my mind, that satisfies it. It brings a sense of connection, but also a sense of belonging. It's hard to have an other when you put yourself in the place of one that you thought was the other. That experience. One of the things we did in ministerial school was we washed each other's feet. A powerful experience to wash someone's feet, to put socks and shoes on people who don't have socks and shoes on a regular basis. It's a powerful experience. And these are some of the things that we can choose to do in the weeks ahead as we move through this time of service in the world. Because it is our way of being. It is our privilege to step into that connection, and it is actually our purpose. It's part of what we are called here to do. We all have some special ability that we're stepping forth into, and that's what we get to step into at this time. I saw a sign this week that said, "Help wanted, inquire within." And I was sitting there listening to it, looking at it, and then I was reading a book I found in our own library here. It's called God's Dictionary. And in the definition for joy, she talked about help wanted, inquire within. Except she put a question mark after help wanted, inquire within. Wow. If you're looking for how you can be that help that's wanted in the world, do that little bit of inquiring within. There was a story of a monk who was in the midst of that very thing, that moment of inquiring within, asking the divine, what is my highest purpose? What is my vision? What am I called here to do? I know I'm a monk here, and I'm at this abbey, and I'm doing my lessons, and I'm learning scripture, but what is my purpose? What is my vision? And at that moment, he felt a tingling through his body and a glowing in the room, and he looked off, and in the corner of the room, just above the candlelight, there it was, appearing a vision. And just as he was about to interpret what it meant, he heard a ding, 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 which was the bell tolling that it was his time to go out and feed the poor. And he's like, okay, do I check out my vision, or do I go out and feed the poor? Well, that was his job. So he went out and he fed the poor. And then when he came back into his room, there it was, the vision. It was still waiting. And the vision said, had you not gone out to feed the poor, I would have left. But I stayed here so that I could deliver this vision to you. See, Spirit is interested in giving us our vision so that we can live our purpose. But we must know that that purpose is waiting for us to do. You see, it's not our ability that the vision, the Spirit is looking for. It's looking for our availability. See, He wants us to be able to step out into it. When we have an ability and we're not making that ability available to people, that actually becomes a liability. But the truth of the matter is, the vision will wait for us as we go out and live our purpose, because they are one and the same. That's what we get to do, you see. We get to help our small self for the larger self. Another story that I ran into this week was a fable of a servant for the king. And he had been out serving in the kingdom and in the castle and in the king's realm, and he actually was kind of tired of it, and he went to go for a walk because he needed a break. I just need a break from all the service. And he went off for a walk, and he walking through the woods, and he kicked something and saw something shiny as he kicked it, and he looked, and it was a lamp, and he picked it up and he rubbed it, and out comes the genie, and the genie says, I can give you one wish. What wish would it be? And he was like, I would like to be served. I'm tired of being a servant. My wish is to be served. Granted. Gets back into the castle, and there it was. Starts happening. What would you like? Could I give you food? He went to take a drink. They took the glass out of his hand and gave him the drink. He went to put it down. They took the glass out of his hand and put the glass down. He went to to put some clothes on the next morning. People showed up to put the clothes on him. He's like, He walks back out of the woods looking for the lamp. He goes, oh my God, where's the genie? He finds the lamp. He rubs it. The genie comes out and he says, I don't want this. I don't want this. I can't do anything for myself anymore. And the genie says, sorry, dude, one wish per lamp. I don't got you're stuck. He says, I feel like I'm living in hell. He says, yep, you have been. If we don't get to serve, it's like living in hell. We have to do this. This is our purpose. This is our being. This is what we are called here to do. If we're not available to step into what we are able to do, we are in a living hell. Dr. Holmes talks about this. He says that let the one who is sad, depressed, or unhappy find some altruistic purpose for which he may pour his whole being, and he will find a new inflow of life of which he never dreamed. Find that purpose, and something flows into you that allows you to feel something. And that inflow depends on your outflow. It depends on what you're letting go of. You see, we think of service as sometimes of like being a servant or being servile and docile and obedient. But no, maybe we should gamify it. Like, I was very upset yesterday that I meditated yesterday, but I meditated to a tape, like a song on Spotify, instead of through my app. And I thought that my app was now going to have a missing day because I have 1,322 consecutive days of meditating because they have gamified meditating. Lord knows, but some kind of way, I must have meditated to the app yesterday too, because it's still consistently consecutive. But the point is, they've gamified meditation. Maybe if we gamified this service thing, let's think of service from a game theory. Let's say you're playing, pickleball. And why would I mention pickleball? I don't know, because we have our own pickleball addict in the house. But let's say you are playing that, and you're on the other side of the net, and there's the other person over there, and they got all the balls. What's happening? Nothing, until they serve the ball. And then you hit it back, and now there's a volley going forth. So service in some way from game theory requires somebody to serve first so that the exchange can take place. Service requires a return, and then a volley begins. Service being the spiritual way, in a spiritual perspective then, means to get everybody involved, and the more that are involved, the more are being of service. This is why it's important for all of us to do what little we can, to enlarge the pool. The more energy gets out there, the better it is for everybody. So that's what we get to do. That's what one of the calls. That's what Dr. Holmes is talking about, that altruistic purpose, so that something can pour into your being that is larger than anything you've ever dreamed of. That's a way of doing it. It's a way of stepping into your larger self. We can't live alone anyway. Nothing ever happens alone. We have to do it in connection with others, you know. I love my prayer beads I have here, my mala beads, that if Legia had not taken a class where she learned how to make these beads, I wouldn't have these today. So it's Legia, but then the class, but then whoever made the beads, then who put the little string together to put the beads on, all of that, so I could have this one experience. Everything that we're doing requires that multiplicity of connections throughout the whole experience. So we must do that. The monk must feed the poor. The servant in the king's castle must have help for the king. I have to have each and every one of you in order to be in this place of service. And this job that I get to do, it replenishes my soul on a regular basis. Yesterday, I was exhausted. We've had quite a week here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley. We've had some shifts and some changes, and it required a little more intensive work here for me, my board president, a lot of the rest of us. And to tell you the truth, I was just kind of like, I'm tired. I want to go to movie night, but I can't. Then I started writing the talk. Energy started flowing like crazy because I knew that I was going to have this time to share these wonderful stories about the monk and the help within, inquire within, and all that. The question mark just meaning the difference and all. It just became so exciting. I went to bed last night at midnight. I'm living there in a bed going like, Why? Because I was excited to come here and do this. Service replenishes the soul. Got here at 8 o'clock, this 8:15 this morning. David was like, what are you doing here? This is what happens, though. You find your battery gets recharged when you pay your rent. When you pay your rent, when you step into it. Jesse Jennings, a wonderful contributor to the Science of Mind magazine, says, when you serve somebody from a high-spirited place, with that high-spirited place within, you're not only meeting some need right now, but you're modeling how those served can make the return. Passing the good along from what they have. It doesn't take a lot. What little they have, they're willing to give away because you've given away what little or what great that you have to share. You know, the potato farmers of Ireland for many years would eat the largest potatoes and save the smaller potatoes for seed. They would plant the smaller potatoes. And after a couple of seasons of doing this, suddenly, what happened to the potatoes? They were smaller. Oh, my goodness. What have we done? You see, you reap as you sow. If you plant little potatoes, you're going to get little potatoes. If you do little seeds of service, little deeds of service, you're going to get little deeds of service back. You got to give, but got to give big. I don't want to say give till it hurts. I'm not into that pain thing. But give to the space of where you go, I don't know if I have that to give. Yeah, you do. That's what we're talking about. Step forward. Step forward. Plant big, harvest big. Our journey is that. Our journey is to go from dreamer to being the dream. From the visionary to living the vision. That's where we want to get to, you see. It's great to hear about these examples, and we're going to hear some about that and hear how this young man here got from volunteer to president of the board. How does that happen? We'll find out in just a minute. A wonderful talker and writer and preacher of old said that our lives, this is from Henry Melville, says, our lives are connected by 1,000 invisible threads. And along these sympathetic fibers, our actions run as causes and return to us as results. Our actions go out as causes and return to us as results. The results of feeling of purpose, to feeling of service, to feeling privileged to get to give, to reaping the larger harvest because we are planting big seeds. That's the journey we get to step into when we pay the rent that is due. And so it is. So that's where we get to this from. See, this is why when we do this, and where the affirmation came out of too, is this idea that also when I'm of service, I restore dignity to a person who may have lost their sense of dignity from some circumstances of life. When I give of service, I bring a sense of security to someone who may feel they've lost their space and security, and that creates that sense of community. That's also part of what we get to do when we take these conscious actions. Are you ready? Here we go. I take conscious actions that connect me to life, renewing my spirit and restoring my dignity, security, and sense of community. Let's do our revealing prayer. So grateful to do that. I just love this opportunity to know Spirit and to feel Spirit. And I invite you to feel that divine connection within you, to think about your purpose, to think about your beingness. Think about that sense of privilege that you might feel, that you know that you have the ability to share with others. Or maybe even just to share with yourself. How often do we really love ourselves and give ourselves the fullness of who we are? So I take this time right here and now to know the divine presence is in this room, in the soul of each and every person here, at the center of everyone's being. There is some infinite intelligence, some wise presence that knows and knows that it knows and shares what it knows with each of us. When we go within and experience that divine connection, allowing us to be as one. And in this oneness, I know that there is the right answer. There is the perfect alignment. There is this sweet whisper, this gentle urging that says, yes, my beloved, this is what I have put within you, and this is what is called forth for me and you as one to be more fully expressed in the world. This is a cooperative activity, a co-creative experience in this thing called life, and as that co-creator on the physical plane and as the co-creator on the unseen plane, we now combine together to bring into time and space a harmonious, prosperous, abundant, perfect, healing, whole relationship and experience for all those in our sphere of influence. Those tiny fibers of vibrational energy are right now flowing outward and coming back as perfect results, bringing that sense of joy, security, dignity, connection, and community in all of our activities. Living fully in the oneness that heals the planet, that heals its inhabitants, that heals all that is here, from the crawling creatures to the rooted creatures to the flying creatures and all in between, those that live in the water and above the seas. We right now, by our presence, bring that joyous experience of the divine into reality here and now. I bless it. I let it be. I call it good and so very good. And so it is. Oh, Cheryl, where are you? Raffle ticket time. We're going to, if this concert is coming up, if you haven't purchased a raffle ticket, we're going to pull the raffle tickets a little bit later. Cheryl's going to walk around during our giving time for raffle tickets, and I'm going to have Daniel pull the tickets so you can't blame me if you didn't win. We'll do that a little bit later. Also, These are the other ways in which you can support our center. I think you know these already. We have the text to give. John. Yep, we got the text to give, the donate, and then the regular call to the office. And here is our affirmation of abundance. Let's say it together with meaning and feeling and knowing that it's not just for us, it's for the world and each other. Here we go, right now. Divine love, it's doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for the world, Center for Spiritual Living, Simi Valley, and me now. Divine love prevails. All right. Thank you, ushers, for passing around the baskets at this time. Here's our caliber of events, and Cheryl's walking around with the raffle tickets as well. Thank you, David.
Let's just know right here and right now that this money and the money flowing in from unlimited, infinite sources is service in action. This is what we do. This is who we are as community. The Simi Valley Center for Spiritual Living and the larger community. We know it is richly blessed and the abundance goes out forever and ever, and so it is.
Thank you.
David Joyce, one more time. It's been so beautiful having you here today.
Thank you so much. Is this thing on? Yes. Hello. The last couple times I've been here, we've had some fun making a little choir out of you all. You guys willing to do that? All right. Yes. So I heard a few things this morning. The first thing was rent is due. Rent due. So that could be part of it, but I think one of the ones that really stuck out to me is service is the rent we pay for being. So if we could just try this together. Service is the rent we pay for being. 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 We got that. Service is the rent we pay for being. Service is the rent we pay. You got that? Keep that going. This is the rent we pay for being. Service is the rent we pay. Inquire within, 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 inquire within. Inflow depends on outflow. Inflow depends on outflow. Inflow depends on outflow. Inflow depends on outflow. Can you remember your part? Outflow. Let's bring that back in. Service is the thing we pay for being. Let's bring that up. Flow depends on outflow. Let's hear this group. Inquire within, inquire within, inquire within. Keep going. I'm going to give my little part. My part's small potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Big potatoes. Small potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Big potatoes. Everybody go to small potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Big potatoes. Big potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Big potatoes with this. Small potatoes, no. Small potatoes, no. Small potatoes. Everybody, come on. Big potatoes. All right, that's the big potato song. And the groove, the band is grooving on that.
You are delightful. You are delightful. This reminds me of how important it is. Okay, as if Randy, as if you and John don't have enough to do, we would like to figure. Is that me? Sometimes this does that. Is that me? Could have been. Right. Yep. It is. Whoa, what's happening? Stop. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Just hold
It's
it
a
like
big
this.
potato song. I don't know.
It's a. I know. I know. I'm thinking we should mic.
Take one of these microphones right over here.
I am. Yep, I am. I'm transferring right now. I know, it's just all this power everywhere. So I'm thinking we should mic the room so that when they're singing, we can bring that up.
yeah.
That'd be fun. Yeah. Daniel, would you come join me, please? Let's reverb, and let's reverb this one. Daniel Pena, board president.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Of the Samaritan Center. We will in a minute. Try now.
This thing on? All right.
There you go. Okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it. And the first thing I love is I asked you just a minute ago, how did you get to be the president of the board? Tell me that one real quickly, and then we'll go into some other stuff.
Sure. So I've been volunteering at the Samaritan Center for over 12 years. And it started with just serving hot breakfast to the clients on a Saturday morning for 1 hour a month, basically. And it just kind of grew and grew to I became a board member. I've been past treasurer, vice president, and now I'm the president. So then if you asked me 12 years ago,
Right.
but nope,
Yeah.
no way, right? But it just kind of happened just by serving, pouring out, and other opportunities opening up. So
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Nancy? Right now, you're just driving food. Next thing you know, you're going to be up here.
Yeah.
So you heard what we talked about: rent due, privilege, purpose, connection, belonging. And we do. I mean, we have a meal a month that we serve here. How many people have done the meal?
Yep.
So you can see, right?
Absolutely.
So you can see it gets important, and I've served when we still were in the kitchen serving, and we bring food all the time. But let's talk about how can we step it up in a different way. What are other ways that we can feel that we have done that privileged job of being of service and paid our rent?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for that. So, I think I heard the word activity almost been a dozen times today, right? And, but I think things to be able to do, and the principles, I love the principles here at the center, right? It's love, inclusion, equity, and justice, right? And, with the vision that a world the world can be for everybody.
That's right. That's right. It's one of our sayings.
Correct.
A world that works for everyone.
Right. And with that mission, right, that you guys have to make that happen is woven through all of your activities, right? And activity, to do an activity, you actually have to take action. It's not going to do itself.
Right.
Right? And so I love that about the center. As it relates to the Samaritan Center and our community here in Simi Valley, I have it in 3 buckets, if you'll allow me. The first bucket is an opportunity for paths, and I don't know if people have heard that here, but it's public action to deliver shelter. So from November through March, you're in Southern California, right? I mean, it's not that cold here, but if you're on the street,
It's cold.
it's cold.
Yeah.
Right? We can add a blanket. We can turn the heat up. We can, do a lot of things, but they can't, right? And so what we have during that period, for those you don't know, is within CME here, we've got every night those who are onboarded. It's not just anybody walks up, but those who are onboarded to the program through the Samaritan Center.
Okay, so stop right there. What does onboarded mean?
Onboarded means that we know them. We do case management for them.
Okay.
They're not, so we know where they're at. From the Samaritan Center, we meet them where they're at. Some are close to being rehoused again. Some of them are just newly homeless. And so we onboard those to utilize the PAD service, right?
Okay.
There's somewhere upwards of 15 to 20 or so during that period. But it rotates throughout CME in sites like this here where we have monitors and where they can come and actually get out of the cold and actually sleep and have a safe night of sleep without worried about freezing, right? So that's something that the center can consider doing for that. Another thing we have is pantry for the Samaritan Center. So not only do we have about 140 clients that we have onboarded to the center, but there's about 800 families here in CME that are 1 or 2 paychecks away from being homeless. And so we have pantry twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we, through donations, which another call to action could be is a food drive, right, for the center. But we also rescued, last fiscal year, we rescued over 130,000 pounds of food from Ventura County's food share program.
I love how you say rescued.
Yes.
In other words, it was going to
Yes,
trash.
it was going to trash. And Ventura has a great program, not just for us. There's plenty of places that do this, right? We have pantry twice a week. But it helps those families when there's not enough money left at the end of the check to pay rent, to keep the lights on, the heat on. And so the pantry helps them kind of stretch that dollar a little more, especially in this time of inflation, right? And so that's another way is be able to share our resources, right? Another one, of course, is money. That's another resource, right?
Sure.
So whether it's donations, a place like the center we're actually observing our 30-year anniversary this year. And I know this place has been here around just as, if not longer.
Yeah, 35.
Right, but it doesn't happen it's not happenstance that it just happens, right? It's donations from the members, right, from the community. We get grants that we apply for to be able to keep the doors open, right? And so it's donations, whether it's to the Samaritan Center, to here, or someplace that you're passionate about, right? That's another call. That's another service that we can have, right? We, I would say, in this room have an embarrassment of riches, right? We do.
Blessed.
Absolutely. And so we are called to share those, right? And so of course money is always one of them. But if you're passionate about something, I'm very passionate about the homeless. I've got stories I could tell you about why, but I'm very passionate about the homeless, and that's why I spend upwards between the Samaritan Center and the place I call home for my church. I'm upwards of 350 to 400 hours a year in volunteering time between those two places. And so that's because that's where I'm very passionate about. And so I would say is, everybody in this room may not be passionate about the homeless, right? Or those that are experiencing homelessness, right? Because sometimes we have a stigma and label homeless people that they're homeless. Like it actually describes them, or it's actually them, right? Whereas, as opposed to it's a season that they're in, right? Of experiencing, housing insecurities, food insecurities. We talk about the pantry. And so wherever you're passionate about, donate there. Right. And then the third bucket of resources is time. Now, I love this one here because we're all in this room. Wherever we work at, we make different amounts of money, right? Some of us make more, some make less. But time is the one great equalizer because we all get the same amount. It's 24 hours. And so if we take out, some of you might laugh, we take out 8 hours of sleeping, and we take out 8 hours of work, right? Just to simplify it, put it in perspective.
Yeah, got it.
If we take out working and sleeping, and we've got, let's say, 8 hours left at the end of 8 hours, that's non-working. If I were to ask you, what do you do in those 8 hours? You are going to tell me what's important to you by describing that.
Sure. Your disposable hours, kind of like your disposable cash, right?
Absolutely. And it's not the throwaway that we talked about with the written due.
Yeah.
It's not your throwaway time.
Right.
So my challenge to the center here, right, and I've gone through this too. I watch an embarrassingly amount of TV, right? I do. I DVR a lot of stuff, but over probably even over a decade ago, maybe even 15 years ago, right, more stuff gets built up on my DVR.
Yeah.
I don't watch as much, but when I do, it's a guilty pleasure, and I kind of binge, right? But I don't. With 400 hours of volunteering, it's over 30 hours a month that I volunteer. And I'm not asking all you to do 30. I wasn't at 30 back when I started volunteering for the center. I was at 1 hour a month. Just one.
We talk about that in terms of tithing. You're talking about tithing time.
Absolutely.
And you may not start out at 10%, but you might get there.
You might get there. And we're all in different seasons of life, too, right? You may be like, hey, Daniel, you don't know my situation. I can't do that right now. Okay, maybe not right now. But when you get out of that season that you're currently in, you could.
Yeah.
Right? And so I would just challenge the center to look at your time and say, is there an opportunity for me to even do 1 hour, whether it's here at the center here, or at the Samaritan Center across town, or it's something else that you're passionate about, your kids' school, your grandkids' school, someplace else. If you want to go visit, the sick kids in the hospital, or perhaps the older generation that's in a nursing home, and just sit there and just talk with them and ask them. They'll tell you stories, right?
That's a valuable. I love that. What am I going to do with that other 8 hours, and how can I just give up an hour of that a month just to start with?
An hour.
It's easy.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah,
and so
make it easy.
So I would challenge that. And then I think one of the other things I would say about the center, right? So the Center for Spiritual Living, right, is these 4 walls, right?
We like to think of ourselves going outside these walls, and that's what's so important for us.
There.
Yeah, okay.
It's these 4 walls, but it's not just the 4 walls. The center is all of you, right?
Exactly.
And so I think sometimes what we find out, and I love the song from David and the band, right? We talked about getting out the doors, going out and doing something, right? Because if all we do, and this is me too, from where I call church my home, right? It's easy sometimes to come and fill our cup. So we fill our cup and we consume resources, right? I'm not shaming anybody. I'm just telling you from my perspective and where I've been at times in seasons of my life is it's easy to come and consume. And I love the meditation. I love the meditation, actually. I need to prioritize more of my 8 hours into doing that. I love that. I came here and I sat for 20 minutes, and I'll tell you what, before we knew, the 20 minutes was over.
Yeah. Oh, it goes. Boom,
I
right?
thought, where did that go, right? So, but it's really to get out as the center of spiritual living. Get out and go do that. Go do your principles and go out and do what you say that you are as a community.
I love it.
Because the community is not just a person sitting next to you.
That's right.
That's easy here. The community is the ones that are out in Simi Valley, Ventura County, Los Angeles County, the place that you work, right? And so that's where I would challenge for when we talk about the day of service, right? It's nice, the day of service, but it really, and you guys have it as a month.
But give it the focus, right?
But it's the focus of, okay, I'm going to start doing something more than I'm doing today. If you're at 0, then you could do an hour.
That's beautiful.
Start that.
I like your buckets. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here with us.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. And we love the Samaritan Center, as you know, and we will continue to support them as long as we possibly can. I'm following behind you, but not on purpose, by accident. I left this behind. All right, and we're going to get with them on their 30th anniversary and support that as well. And you have the list that you saw on the website. It's out in the lobby of the things that we can give to continue to be out there as we've done. So our thank yous for today. First, I want to thank Daniel for being here, for coming in and spending time with us. And Ron, thank you for leading today's service team. And it was so fun to see Linda and Becky standing up here together, because that was one of the service teams when I first got here. They were on the service team together, and I was like, oh, look at that, this is Becky together. It's beautiful. Gregory, thank you so much for being up in the booth and all that you've done today. John on the slides, you're jamming on the slides. David Joyce and Laura Hamilton Joyce, beautiful, beautiful, creating that music, turning us into a choir once again. Always got to love up Steve Fowler and Bob Townley and Randy Jones, just our beautiful Soul Purpose band. We want to thank Cassandra and Lane for doing their singing work. We really appreciate that. Kathy and Lane are going to be in the office afterwards. And Lena, thank you so much for, there you go, for your fellowship that you do. I don't know if you did something today, but you do something so many days that if you took a day off, I'm grateful that you gave yourself a break. But thank you so much for that. She did bring something. See there? Because she does it every time. And Lillian's been helping out a lot with that. I don't think she's here today, but Lillian's also been helping with fellowship. We give some love out here to Costa today. We know that we miss his coffee. I think, Cheryl, did you? Cheryl made coffee only if you like it. Only if you like it. All right. You want to come up and let's do the raffle, because we didn't do the raffle. I'm gonna ask Dan to come back up and pull that.
Shaking it all up. Maybe we're gonna stuck at the bottom. Okay. All right.
Is this one of those got to be here to win, or do we just?
Yeah, with everybody who bought it was here.
Okay. All right. The gift. The gift has won them. Thank you so much. That's great. Oh, look at that. That's so funny that we all know who the gift is. That's beautiful. That's sweet. All right. So we got a few things that are coming up I want to remind you about. Again, we've got the CPR, the class. Of course, the class starts on Tuesday. I'm excited about that. We're close to the intention. I think we're at 16, so we need 4 more to sign up to hit the 20 for our class. So we got class coming up. So grateful for that. It's Tuesday. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Change your life. Change your thinking. Change your life. Change your questions. Change your life is the subtext of that class. So we really appreciate you that. And also for the CPR training that's coming up on the 23rd. I want to remind people the cost for that includes the tuition, the textbook, handouts, and your 2-year CPR certified AED first aid training certificates. You could take it out there when people say, do you know what you're doing? You go, boom, yeah, boom, 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 boom. Right? So that's how that works. Okay, so much for that. Now, let's do Practitioner of the Day. Come on up here, Nancy. Tell us what are you going to be doing after service for people.
I will be standing right over there by the door. I don't know. I don't like the exit sign because then everybody just walks out. So come see me and have a quick, beautiful treatment if you're so inclined. And I just want to thank Daniel again. I did 1 hour a month starting when I started to drive, that 1 hour. And now I'm over there every Monday driving, and I don't want to leave. I stay 2 and 3 hours. It's like, what can I do next? Sort vegetables. I've sorted vegetables. I've bagged vegetables for the pantry. It's beautiful. So, but whatever your passion is, go out and find that hour. I think that was such a beautiful, because like you said, I could probably go help at my grandson's school too, but I have enough of that. I'd rather be with, anyway, I'll be there. Okay. Love you all.
Thank you. Thank you. It's also our time for Volunteer of the Month. And this month, our Volunteer of the Month is, Lena Townley. And she ran out. She ran out to go do the volunteering thing that she's getting Volunteer of the Month for. That's how much of a volunteer this woman is. She's not even here to receive her acknowledgement. So give her some love when you see her later, all right? Okay, let's all stand and do our closing benediction. And did she get her? No, we told her. Everybody's just going to love her up when they see her. They're going to love her when there's the class thing. Nancy just talked, and here's our affirmation of our closing benediction. And it says, I'm at home in the heart of God.
My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love.
Let's sing.
God is doing something wonderful as me. Here we go.
God is doing something wonderful as me. God is doing something wonderful as me. Incredible, you get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible and awesome. God is doing something wonderful as me.
Here we go. Take it up.
Something wonderful as me. God is doing something wonderful as me. Awesome and incredible, you will get the glory. God is doing something wonderful, incredible and awesome. God is doing something wonderful as me. God is doing something wonderful as me.
Something wonderful as you, as us. Gotta fit that in there. Oh, sorry. That was great, guys.